Hello everyone and welcome to the new part of the tutorial for project 366 days of granny squares. And this time we will be making a nice beautiful 3D flower granny square of day 8. It consists of 11 rounds and you need 4 colors. Both of these squares are made with the same pattern and the same number of colors, and actually the same colors, but they look a bit different. All depends on your creativity. Here is a bit more of nice view of the finished granny squares, and let's begin our work. Round 1. Slip knot, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Then we insert the hook in first chain, yarn over and pulling through both loops, and we have a small ring, the starting ring, where we will start making double crochet. If you prefer to make a magic ring, you're also welcome. And we start chain 2 and 16 double crochet into the ring. One, two, 3, 4, and so on till you have 16 double crochet into the ring. Please continue. I have all 16 double crochet made and slip stitch in standing double crochet. We skip chain 2 because it is not a separate element. So slip stitch, and our first round is done. Do not fasten off. Next round we'll make of the same color. Round 2. Chain 2, that doesn't count as a stitch. Front post double crochet around the same stitch. Actually we have chain 2 and double crochet, so we are making front post double crochet around both of them. Don't worry, it will look nice at the end and not as thick as it may seem. This is our standing stitch of the round and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning our first repeat out of 8. Chain 3, we skip next stitch and around next one, the second one, double crochet, front post double crochet actually. So our first repeat out of 8 is done. Let's make one more. Chain 3, we skip next stitch and around next one, the second one, front post double crochet. So in this round we have just front post double crochet and chain 3. We made 2 repeats out of 8, and please continue. I am nearly done with this row. Finishing the 8th repeat, I have chain 2, and you will see in the written pattern that we are omitting a last front post double crochet because we already have it. Our first stitch of the round was not included in repetitions because at the same time it is the last stitch of the round, and slip stitch in first front post double crochet. And as you can see, we have 8 front post double crochet and 8 chain 3 spaces. Now you can fasten off, secure the ends. Next round we'll make of another color. Round 3, color B. This time we will be working in front of stitches of round 2 in skipped double crochet of round 1. And we start this round with standing front post double crochet in any skipped double crochet of round 1. I will select this one and I'm making front post double crochet around it in front of stitches of round 2. Here we are. Our front post double crochet is on top of chain 3 line on it. This is our standing stitch of the round and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning our first repeat out of 8. Chain 1 and around next stitch of round 2, this is our front post double crochet. Around it we will be making front post puff stitch. So we take our puff stitch, our front post double crochet, and begin the puff stitch. Yarn over, pulling up a loop, the first one. We need to make 3 more. Yarn over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pulling up the 3rd loop, and yarn over and pulling up the 4th loop, and pulling through all the loops, on all 9 loops on the hook, and finishing with chain 1. This chain 1 belongs to puff stitch and it is not included in any other chain spaces. So we have our front post puff stitch done, and we continue. Chain 1 and then working in front of next chain 3 space in skipped double crochet of round 1, front post double crochet. And our first repeat out of 8 is made. Let's make one more. Chain 1 and then front post puff stitch around next front post double crochet of round 2. Yarn over, pulling up the 1st loop, yarn over, pulling up the 2nd loop, yarn over, pulling up the 3rd loop, yarn over, and pulling up the 4th loop. And now we are pulling through all 9 loops on the hook and finishing with chain 1 that belongs to puff stitch. Then we are making chain 1 and in front of chain 3 space we are making front post double crochet in skipped double crochet of round 1. And our second repeat out of 8 is done. Please continue and I will meet you at the end of the round. And finally, the end of the round, last element was chain 1 and slip stitch in standing front post double crochet, made a round double crochet of round 1. In total, we should have 8 front post puff stitches, 8 front post double crochet, and 16 chain 1 spaces. You can fasten off, secure the ends. Next round we will make of another color. Round 4, color C. We join new yarn with standing popcorn in any chain 1 space. I will select this one. So our popcorn consists of 5 double crochet. So first double crochet, the second double crochet, the third double crochet, the fourth double crochet, and the fifth double crochet. Then we drop our loop and insert the hook in the top of the first double crochet from front side of the work to the wrong side. Then we pick up our dropped loop and pull it through the top of the first double crochet and finish puff stitch with chain 1 that belongs to puff stitch. Our standing puff stitch is done. This is our standing stitch and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning our first small repeat out of 16. Chain 2. We skip next stitch, in my case this is puff stitch, front post puff stitch, and in next chain 1 we are making popcorn. Once again it consists of 5 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5. We drop the loop and insert the hook on top of the first double crochet from right side to the wrong side, pick up the dropped loop and pull it through the top of the first double crochet and finish it with chain 1 space. And our first repeat out of 16 is made. Let's make one more. Chain 2. We skip next stitch, which is front post double crochet, and in next chain 1 space we are making popcorn. 5 double crochet of popcorn. 3, 4, and 5. And then closing the popcorn with chain 1. And our second repeat out of 16 is made. Please continue and I will meet you at the end of the round. And one more round of the beautiful flower in the center is finished. Last element was chain 2 and slip stitch in standing popcorn. In total at this point in this round we had 16 popcorns that consisted of 5 double crochet and 16 chain 2 spaces. You can fasten off and secure the ends. Next round we'll make of another color. Round 5, color D. We join new yarn with standing front post single crochet around any popcorn made in chain 1 space before front post puff stitch. Okay, first of all let's find front post puff stitch. Here it is. And this was chain 1 before front post puff stitch, and we have popcorn on top. There are 8 popcorns like that. before any puff stitch, I will select this one. So this is the indicated popcorn that is before front post puff stitch and front post single crochet around it. Here we are. This is our standing stitch and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning our first repeat out of 8. In next chain 2 space we are making 3 single crochet. 1, 2 and 3. Front post single crochet around next popcorn. Done. In next chain 2 space we make first 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and now front post treble crochet around front post double crochet of around 3. This is the indicated front post double crochet. So front post treble crochet around it, 1, 2 and the top. Then in the same chain 2 space where we made before 2 single crochet, we are placing 2 more single crochet, 1 and 2, and front post single crochet around next popcorn. And our first repeat out of 8 is done. Let's make one more. In next chain 2 space 3 single crochet, 1, 2 and 3. Around next popcorn front post single crochet. In next chain 2 space 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Then we are making front post treble crochet around corresponding front post double crochet of round 3, and in the same chain 2 space where we just made 2 single crochet, 2 more single crochet, 1 and 2, and front post single crochet around next popcorn. Here we are. We have 2 repeats out of 8 made. Please continue and I will meet you at the end of the round. And here we are. The end of the round. Our 2 last elements were 2 single crochet and slip stitch in standing front post single crochet. At this point we had 8 front post treble crochet, 16 front post single crochet around each popcorn, and 56 single crochet in total. Please do not fasten off. Next round will continue with the same color. Round 6, color D, same color. Chain 1, that doesn't count as a stitch, single crochet in the same stitch. This is our first stitch of the round and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning our first repeat out of 8. Single crochet in next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We skip next stitch and around next one, which is front post treble crochet, we are making front post puff stitch. So yarn over, pulling up a loop, the first one, yarn over, pulling up the second loop, yarn over, pulling up the third loop, yarn over and pulling up the fourth loop, and now pulling through all 9 loops on the hook and finishing with chain 1 that belongs to puff stitch. Here we have it. Then we skip next stitch. Please be careful, it may be a bit hidden, so we skip the first one and then single crochet in next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. And our first repeat out of 8 is done. Let's make one more. Single crochet in next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We skip next stitch and around next one, which is front post treble crochet, front post puff stitch. So yarn over and pulling up a loop around the stitch. The first, yarn over, pulling up the second loop, yarn over, pulling up the third loop, yarn over and pulling up the fourth loop, and pulling through all loops on the hook. They were 9, and finishing with chain 1. Puff stitch is made. Then we skip next stitch. Be careful not to skip it, and then in next 2 stitches single crochet, 1 and 2. I have 2 repetitions out of 8, and please continue. We will meet at the end of the round. And here we are, all 8 repetitions are made. Our last element was single crochet. We omitted the second single crochet of the repetition because we already have it. This is our first single crochet of the round. It was not included in repetitions because at the same time it is the last one. As you can see, around every front post treble crochet of previous round we have front post puff stitches, and if we will count single crochet after our repetitions were joining, we have 7 groups. We have groups of 7 single crochet. This round is ready. Please do not fasten off. Next round we will make of the same color. Round 7, we continue with the same color. In this row we will have many puff stitches. We will have to make 24 of them. But let's begin our work. Chain 1, that doesn't count as a stitch, and puff stitch in the same stitch. So, as you remember, we should have yarn over and a loop 4 times to have 9 loops on a hook and pulling through all of them and finishing with chain 1. So our first puff stitch is the first of the round and at the same time the last of the round, and is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning the first repeat out of 8. Chain 1, We skip next stitch and in the next one, in the second one, puff stitch. Pulling through all the loops and closing with chain 1. One more time. Chain 1. We skip next stitch and in the next one, in the second one, puff stitch. Pulling through all the loops, finishing with chain 1. Chain 1. We skip next stitch and around next one, which is front post puff stitch, we are making one more front post puff stitch. So finding the top, here we are, starting to make our front post puff stitch, having 9 loops on a hook, pulling through all of them and finishing with chain 1. So here is our front puff stitch on top of previous front puff stitch. Chain 1. We skip next stitch, be careful not to miss it, here it is, and in the next one, in the second one, puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pulling through 9 loops, finishing with chain 1. And this is our first repeat out of 8. Let's make one more. Chain 1. We skip next stitch and in the next one puff stitch. Pulling through all the loops and finishing with chain 1. One more time. Chain 1, we skip next stitch and in the next one puff stitch. Pulling through all the loops and finishing with chain 1. Chain 1. We skip next stitch and around next stitch, which is front post puff stitch, we are making front post puff stitch. Finding the top of it, here it is, and front post puff stitch around it. Pulling through all the loops and finishing with chain 1. Chain 1. We skip next stitch, don't miss it, it may be a bit hidden, and in the next one, in the second one, puff stitch. And finishing with chain 1 space. So we have 2 repeats out of 8. Please continue and we will meet at the end of the round. And here we are. Last element was chain 1 and slip stitch in first puff stitch of the round. I need to correct myself a little bit. We have 24 puff stitches, the regular ones in this round, plus 8 front post puff stitches. So 32 in total. You can fasten off, secure the ends, and next round we'll make with another color. Round 8, color A. We need to find the second puff stitch of group of 3. I selected this group. Here is the second puff stitch and front post single crochet around it. This is our standing stitch of the round and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in the repetitions. And now we begin our first repeat out of 32. In next chain 1 space, 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and front post single crochet around next stitch. Our first repetition out of 32 is done. Let's make one more. 2 single crochet in chain 1 space, and front post single crochet around next stitch. 2 repetitions out of 32. Please continue and we will meet at the end of the round. Okay, this is the end of the round. Slip stitch in standing front post single crochet. Please do not fasten off. Next round will begin with the same color. Round 9, color A, the same color. Chain 1, that doesn't count as a stitch, and single crochet in the same stitch. This is our first stitch of the round and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning our first repeat out of 4. Single crochet in next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 1. We skip next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the next one, in the third one, cluster of 2 double crochet. Chain 1. We skip next stitch, and in the next one, combination of clusters. We are making first cluster of 2 double crochet, chain 1, the second cluster of 2 double crochet, chain 1, and the third cluster of 2 double crochet in the same stitch. If you don't know how to make double crochet, you can also consult the written pattern. The link is in description to this video. Chain 1. We skip next stitch. Please be careful, it may be a bit hidden. And in next stitch, in the second one, cluster of 2 double crochet. That consists of 2 unfinished double crochet with the same top. Chain 1, we skip next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and starting the next one, the third one, we need to make 8 single crochet in every stitch. So we skip 1, 2, and then first single crochet, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth. As you can see, our circle is changing to be a square, and we made our first repeat out of 4. So next stitches are of the second repeat, and the beginning of the repeat is single crochet in next 7 stitches. Please continue, and I will meet you at the end of the round. Okay, the end of the round. As you can see, we have now 4 corners. And actually the group of 3 clusters of 3 double crochet is made in front post single crochet around puff stitch. Every corner is the same. made in front post single crochet. And actually, when 2 repetitions were joining together out of 4, we started to have a group of 15 single crochet. And finishing this round, as you remember, we are always omitting the last stitch of repetition. That's why instead of 8 single crochet at the end of repetition, we made 7, because we made a slip stitch in first stitch of the round. That was at the same time the last stitch of the round and was not included in repetitions. Round 9 is done. Please do not fasten off. Next round we will be making of the same color. Round 10, color A, the same color. Chain 1, that doesn't count as a stitch, single crochet in the same stitch. This is the first stitch of the round and at the same time the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we are beginning our first repeat out of 4. Single crochet in next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Half double crochet in the next stitch and double crochet in the next one, which is the last single crochet out of big group of 15 stitches of previous round. Then we are repeating twice the following combination: double crochet in chain 1 space and front post double crochet around next cluster. And one more time, double crochet in chain 1 space and front post double crochet around next cluster. Then in next chain 1 space we are making 2 stitches. First is double crochet and treble crochet. Around the second cluster we are making the corner group. First is front post treble crochet, chain 1, and one more front post treble crochet around the same cluster. Then in next chain 1 space we are making 2 stitches. First is treble crochet and the second one is double crochet. And then twice the small combination: front post double crochet around next cluster and double crochet in chain 1. And one more time, front post double crochet around next cluster and double crochet in chain 1. And here we have our beautiful corner. Let's continue. In first single crochet out of group of 15 we are making double crochet and half double crochet in the next one. Then in next 6 stitches we have single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And our first repeat out of 4 is done. And then you immediately start the second repeat. It begins with single crochet in next 5 stitches, then half double crochet, then double crochet, and then you are making the second corner group. I'm sure you will be able to finish this round all by yourselves, and I will meet you at the end of this round. And the end of the round. Slip stitch in first single crochet of the round. Please do not fasten off. Next round we will continue with the same color and it will be our last round of this square. And the final round, round 11 of this nice and beautiful granny square. We continue with the same color, color A. Chain 1, that doesn't count as a stitch, and single crochet in the same stitch. This is the first stitch and the last stitch of the round, and it is not included in repetitions. And now we begin our first. Repeat out of 4. In next 14 stitches, single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. The last 14th stitch is in the last stitch on this side. This is a front post treble crochet, and now we reached corner chain 1 space where we make single crochet, chain 1 and one more single crochet. Then we are continuing on the other side. In next 15 stitches, single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. And our first repeat out of 4 is done. As you can see, it's an easy round. It consists only of single crochet. What you do next, you already know. In next 14 stitches, single crochet, and then in corner chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. And we will meet at the end of the round. And we are at the end of the round. Slip stitch in standing single crochet. And my congratulations to all of you who made this a very nice and beautiful granny square created by Veronica Liachovic for day 8 of the project 366 Day of Granny Squares. And this is not the last video. We are just at day 8 and still many days to go. So see you soon in a new video with tutorial for a new granny square of the project 366 Days of Granny Square. Easy stitches to everyone and good luck with your projects.